Coming Down is proudly sponsored by Colorado Ganja Gear, high-quality, artistically inspired herb grinders. So let me tell you, these things are great. I actually own one. My favorite part is the perfect consistency you get after grinding. Some grinders just pulverize your herb into dust, but the razor-sharp teeth and smooth action on these always leave you with perfect, fluffy, evenly ground herb. The craftsmanship is top-notch, made from aircraft-grade aluminum to guarantee you won't get metal shavings mixed into your herb. But the best part, truly, is each grinder features original artwork created by Colorado artist Lori Beatty. She creates unique mandalas that are laser-etched into each magnetic lid. And each grinder comes in a silk bag and has free shipping. So just go to etsy.com/shop/Colorado Ganja Gear and enter the code COMINGDOWN in all caps for $5 off, or go to the show notes for this episode and follow the link. Thanks and enjoy the episode. Hello, friends. Welcome to Coming Down. My name's Nathan. I'm sitting here with Matthew.
Hey, everybody.
Man, I'm feeling good today. How about yourself?
Me too.
Yeah.
Feeling great.
The weather's great. Things are great. Everything's great right now.
You know, feeling good.
Science is trucking along. We got a picture of a black hole today.
Oh my God, right?
It's fucking cool, right?
Yeah. It made me kind of hungry.
Yeah. So what's new, man? What's new in your world?
You know, I'm enjoying the fact that I've had enough sleep and I have eaten adequately.
It's a beautiful thing.
You know, I've got about three-quarters of a beer in me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's hard to complain.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to report on this week. Yeah, it's kind of just been business as usual.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just keep this one short since our last intro is like 20 some odd minutes.
Right. Well, I mean, is there anything that you want to say about the contents of this episode? Any callbacks that you want to do?
Not really, but listening back to it, I'll just say this. We know fucking nothing about how the law or the justice system works. We throw out a lot of terms and like things that are just fucking gotta be dead wrong. So I'm sure people listening to this will hear the way we phrase things or the way we refer to things and just shake their heads. So
what I love is our deadpan assuredness. It's like, we might not know what the fuck we're talking about, but we're gonna act like we do, goddammit.
Yep.
Just gonna sail this fucking shit out there that I don't even know what it is, but I'm gonna sound confident while I'm doing it.
And that's the key. But yeah, no, it's this is a funny story. Looking back at it now, I can very much laugh at it.
Oh, this shit's hilarious,
but
oh
boy,
God.
Oh boy, the whole. Yeah, because this spans several years, and the whole thing going through it was just the worst. I'll tell you what.
When I say hilarious, it's more of a tragic comedy.
Yeah.
Man, is it fucking just sad too. Like, things should not have gone this way for you, sir.
No, for sure. And it's kind of like the worst true crime episode. You know, it's like Serial, but for like dumbasses. Just like one long expose at the justice system told week by week, except everyone's a fucking idiot. You know, so
right,
yeah.
Through youthful indolence and a complete lack of knowledge, just turned into a horrifying shit show.
Yep.
But it's fucking laughable the whole way there.
For real. So yeah, I think we'll just get into it. Got to give the shout out. We got a new patron this week.
Oh my God, Chris Nipper. One of my oldest friends. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. And you clever bastard.
Yeah.
our first patron to chip in at $4.20. So, you know, hey.
He found the right price.
Yeah. Here's looking at you, kid. Love it. Yeah, I saw the email this morning. It definitely made my morning. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the other patrons, too. Like, we're getting up there. We're actually totally, I think we're totally self-sufficient now.
Yeah.
I think our web hosting and our pod hosting is completely paid for now. So
killer. That
frees us up for all sorts of other goodies coming down the hatch. So,
and we've set a deadline for our Patreon revamp and our stretch goals. We're not going to tell you what that deadline is, but we do have an internal deadline.
We do have a deadline.
We aim to keep.
And I can tell you for sure that merch is getting ordered this weekend.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, that is happening.
Merch is getting ordered. We've even got some formal wear being crafted.
Yes, totally.
Actually, it's entirely informal, but you know, apparel. We're making apparel.
Oh, tuxedo line isn't happening.
I tried. I put it out there. The best I could do is t-shirts. So,
all right. It's fine. I mean, maybe one day we can be so cool as to do like those. Did you ever see that suit that Conor McGregor made? No. He's that MMA fighter and like total douchebag, but and speaking to what a douchebag he is, but I love this. So he had a pinstripe suit, but all the pinstripes, if you had to zoom up super close on the pinstripes, but they just said "fuck you," like in small font.
Ooh,
like I just kind of love that.
You stay classy.
I know, right? But hell yeah! So anyone, if you want to chip in on that Patreon still, you can go to patreon.com/comingdownpod. If you want to get a hold of us, follow us at Twitter at comingdownpod. Shoot us an email, comingdownpod@gmail.com. Check out our website, comingdownpod.com. That's got all the show notes. That's got the link to our sponsor. I don't think there's any show notes on this one, so... But we've added all of our credits too, so all the theme musics and all the work that Ricky does for us. You can check out her website on there, which is super cool.
We're finally giving credit to all the people who have done all this amazing free work for us.
I know, right? Like, fuck us, but hey, like better late than never. So
true.
But yeah, seriously, go check that out. We've got all the links to Brett's music, and then definitely check out Ricky's website. She still has all her design work up there, and I mean, she's just truly gifted, so it's really, really cool stuff. Let's see, what else? The website has the links to everything, so all the places you'll find is Spotify, Google Play, Apple Music, all that good stuff. And if you feel like giving us a rate and review on Stitcher, we would love you for it. Indeed. But let's go.
Canoe made out of fucking cardboard that we could like stand in and like go across the yard in.
I will say that Little Mermaid...
Certainly problematic, but it was a really fun birthday.
That's actually really cute.
It was super cute. We had a great time. There was like a yarn waterfall. It was wonderful.
Yarn waterfall?
It was really beautiful.
Wow.
But yeah, looking back on it, I mean... It was in the 90s. Like,
yeah, fuck it.
What are you gonna do?
It's beautiful. I will say that Little Mermaid has the best Disney villain.
Dude, Ursula is awesome.
Hands down. Best Disney villain.
Yeah.
Also got the best Disney villain song.
I think most of the songs in Little Mermaid were the best. I don't know.
If Juan wasn't already so good at doing her titular song, then I would be doing it for karaoke.
Wait, who?
Juan, my karaoke buddy, my KJ buddy.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I mean, he's got an amazing voice, and he nails it every time, so, what am I supposed to do?
Man, when are we going to go to Voice Box?
When do you want to go?
We should go soon.
Yeah.
Because I like the idea of doing karaoke in front of my friends, just not in front of a bunch of strangers.
I feel like they're two completely different things, and I love them both.
Yeah.
And I don't do that one enough.
Yeah, for sure. It occurred to me this weekend that Tequila would be the funniest trolled karaoke song. Because it'd just be like 96 bars.
Tequila!
Yep.
I don't think it's even in the library of any karaoke place.
That's a shame.
But do you know what the best, like, one that is definitely in there is? Sail Away.
That'd be a good one too,
because it's almost 6 minutes of instrumental and then 2 minutes of music.
Oh, it is all just instrumental at the beginning.
So it's like 8 or 9 minutes. So like, or no, it's probably 7 minutes, but still, it's like mostly just and then, come sail away with me.
Totally. I love when you see people make mistakes with their karaoke pick, like when someone does Hey Jude and then they don't realize that it's 7 minutes of na 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 na.
Yeah.
Like, it just goes on forever.
The end of that song is the worst.
Yeah, that song's terrible.
And like, it's my buddy Omar's favorite song, and he always forgets that we have to be up there for all of the end of it. And then he bails on me, and I'm just like, no! And he's just like down there, like looking tired, and I'm like, you did this to me.
This is your fault. Yeah. See, and that song would be good if it was 2 minutes of na-na-na-nas, but it's fucking seriously like 5 minutes of na-na-na-nas. It's crazy.
Why?
I don't know.
And honestly, they can edit that shit.
Judy, 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 Judy.
Right? And there's like some Talking Heads song too, where he's just like, ooh, ah, like the whole way out. You know, it's just like, no, dude.
So one of my favorite things, speaking of long, drawn out songs, is just bombing a jukebox somewhere, especially when they have the internet jukebox. So a lot of times they'll have, so Ween has that live album with the second disc is just a 30-minute version of Poop Ship Destroyer and a 30-minute song called Vallejo. And they're both badass, you know, if you're into Ween. But I love
I forgot about that.
I love just dropping those on a jukebox and just watching the room turn so hard.
Oh, God. That's so brutal. Because the 40-minute Let Me Lick Your Pussy, I feel like that would go over fairly well.
That one's good, too. But
because it's so funky.
It
but
meanders.
Like, oh, I mean, like, there's like a 20-minute piano solo.
Yeah.
But, like, still, it's really funky and princey, and I feel like people would probably dance to parts of it.
Yeah.
But Poop Ship Destroyer...
Yeah, and the live one, which is even more brown, just oh, man.
Like, it's so brown it would make your eyes bleed.
Yeah,
like,
it's just noise.
Shit.
It's noise rock, basically.
It really is.
Tons of feedback. It's so
proto-noise rock, for sure. Like, oh my God.
No, I love just dropping long songs on the jukebox, too. Primus has some good, like, 12-minute songs where you're just like, I'm taking this over for the next hour.
Oh, man.
But I only have to put in 4 credits, you know?
Right? Oh, God. We did that at Roscoe's one night. There's this guy who all he wanted to do was listen to Muse, and, like, the room was not reacting well to it. Like,
that's unfortunate.
I was with Matt and our friend Jared, and, like, you know, we have an appreciation for Muse. We actually called them Radio Muse back in the day when they just sounded like Radiohead.
Yeah.
And, like, we were like, okay, guy, like, we appreciate that you're into fucking mathy
opera metal.
Yeah, and, like, but, like, anytime he'd put on a song, he'd be up at the bar, like, fucking playing air drums and shit, and, like, the fucking bartender's just like, oh my God, and, like, everyone else in the bar is just like, ugh. And we're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna put on some Black Alicious, and, like, we just started this, like, cool, like, 90s hip-hop fucking playlist, you know, and, like, on this are we recording?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. On this particular fucking jukebox, you could put in a quarter and, like, skip a song if you wanted to. And, like, this guy kept hearing, like, our fucking 90s conscious hip-hop mix and, like, getting up and putting a fucking quarter in and putting in another Muse song. And then, like, air drums at the bar. Or no, that's right. You had to put in $1 to fucking
skip a song. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so he's just, like, paying through the nose so he doesn't have to listen to hip-hop. And we're just like, yeah, this is awesome. And we're, like, kind of playing off of each other. We were, like, almost, like, kind of, like, telling a little story because, like, you know, you pick a song that's, like, about a breakup or something, and then, like, songs about getting back together, or, like, I don't know, like, Matt and I were just kind of, like, talking to each other, like, with the songs that we were picking.
Songs, yeah.
And, I mean, it's not too hard. Like, we've been roommates before. We have very similar tastes in music. Like, we both kind of came through the early aughts, like, conscious hip-hop thing together, and, like, had an appreciation for the same kind of artists. So it was fun playing off of each other, you know, but then Jared's like, I'm going to put in a song, and he puts on fucking Black Hole Sun. And we're just like, what are you doing? Because he's a DJ. Like, the man used to get paid to play records.
Like, dude, you ever heard of flow or
programming?
Feel the room, like mood, I don't know, anything?
Any number of DJ techniques that we could list here. Like, we're just like, what motivated you to put this song on right now? And also the dude at the bar was really into it. Like,
Yeah, I bet maybe he just wanted to see dude at the bar freak out a little bit.
Yeah, maybe he was just like fucking trying to arch our fucking protagonist. I don't know, but like, we're like, what motivated you to fucking put this song? He's like, I don't know, I just like this song. Like, damn it, dude.
Dude, I'll definitely get to that drunk point where I just want to hear a certain song.
Oh, sure.
Something pops into my head and it's like, no, Children of the Void, right now.
Right.
Sabbath, let's do this. Like, no matter what was on before, I don't know. Like, I'm just ready for something like that.
Oh, yeah. I've also sabotaged, like, the best fucking night of independent fucking punk rock fucking, like, sweet little 45s being strung together with, like, some fucking Tupac or some bullshit, you know? Just like, oops. I didn't mean to get gangster in the middle of this. It was an accident.
Awesome. Right. Well, speaking of being gangster...
Segway!
Yeah, right. This is the story of how I ended up in jail. But it starts further back.
You ended up in jail?
I did, but I wasn't ever arrested. Which is the weird thing. So...
Whoa, so this is like not exactly a close call, but like...
This was the opposite of a close call. Well, actually, it's weird. There were some close calls, and then it was the opposite of a close call. It was me actually getting finally fucked. So that is funny because in all the run-ins with the cops that I've ever had, and I got away with so much, this was the time I went to jail. But we got to go way back to begin this whole story.
All right, break it down.
So I am probably, I think I'm 19 in this story where we begin. And I'm living in this ghetto apartment. It was Ramblewood, but we called it Ramblehood. You know,
Ramblehood.
Yep. And at the time, my friend Pat had a car. He had a red Plymouth Sundance, I think that's what it was. It was it was a total piece of shit. But he had his license suspended, so he would let me drive his car, and I could take it around kind of on my own personal errands if I wanted, but mostly it was there for like going on weed runs. Like, you know, I would be willing to drive to go pick up weed and stuff, and he would loan the car out.
The Crime Chariot.
Yeah, dude.
Excellent.
Man, Crime Chariot? What a band name. All right.
Oh! All right. TM. Copyrighted. Here now.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. That's ours.
Coming soon.
So, one day, we are all, you know, looking to score some weed. And my friend, this guy I knew named Matt, more Matts in my life. But
fucking every man is named Matt.
It's true.
Ridiculous.
And so he comes over and he's like, yeah, I have this like leather jacket that I want to try and pawn and a couple other things. And he was like, if you can give me a ride to the pawn shop, I'll get some money and then we can get some weed.
Weed errands. Perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, this is, you know, all too common.
That's how we do.
You're 19.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, cool, we'll take Pat's car. And so I drive. Pat's in the car with me, and my friend Matt's in the car. He runs into the pawn shop. They don't take his shit, which sucks.
Weak.
And then he hops in the car, and he's like, well, they didn't buy it. And I was like, oh, that's a real bummer, because we definitely all wanted to get some weed. And he was like, well, it was stolen anyway. And I get pissed. I'm like, are you fucking serious, man? Like, I mean, even back then, I had an ethical code.
Well, yeah, you don't fucking rip people off.
Yeah, like I didn't steal from people. Like maybe a corporation or a big box company, but
exactly, you fucking steal from Walmart.
Yeah,
you don't rip people off.
Yeah, so I was like, God damn it, man! You made me drive across town to try and pawn a stolen fucking jacket, and you didn't tell me, and like all this shit. So I was really pissed off, and it's pouring rain, and you know, in Colorado we get huge real rainstorms, so just giant drops. And so I'm pissed off, and I just throw the car in reverse, back out of our parking spot, and immediately hit this van. Oof. And this van had its hazards on. It was parked technically where you could be with your hazards on, but it wasn't a parking spot. And basically it was a guy who worked there and came by for some reason, had thrown the van in park, put the hazards on, ran inside, ran back outside to watch me back out and hit his van.
Oh.
And it was in a parking lot, so I wasn't even going fast, but I hit it at the right angle, and it just completely, like, crunched his wheel well, like, right on his front wheel well.
Man.
And he comes out, yeah, and so I hit the van. I'm like, God damn it, what happened? Look back, see what happened. Pat's in the back seat, and he's like, dude, I don't have insurance.
Fuck.
I'm like, God damn it, is nobody going to give me any information today? Like,
right?
I didn't know this leather jacket was stolen. I didn't know you didn't have insurance.
Is it the same guy who stole the jacket and owned the car?
No. Pat owned the car.
So that you're in the middle of a three-way here.
Yeah, the worst three-way.
Got it. Getting fucked from two angles.
Yeah, totally. And so I get out of the car, and the guy is flipping out. He is pissed because he had just stopped for literally a minute to run inside for whatever reason, and he's like, what the hell, man? Like, and I was like, I'm sorry, it's raining, like, I didn't see it and everything. And he's like, okay, well, like, you better have insurance. He literally was like, the first thing he said, he was like, you better have insurance. And I was like, cool, I do. And then he's like, okay, yeah, well, and see, this is the weird thing, because normally you would just, like, trade information. He was like,
right.
He must have got a vibe or something. He was like, we're driving to the courthouse right now, and you're following me. And I was like, okay, like, that's fine. Because he was like, the cops aren't even going to come out here to, like, file this report because it's, like, in a parking lot or whatever. And I was like, okay, that actually might be the case. I don't really know. But
no, none of that makes sense.
But he was like,
continue.
Yeah, well, anyway, I'm 19 and a dumbass, so,
right.
You know, and I had never been in a car accident or anything, so he's like, we're driving to the courthouse to file a report, and, like, you're going to follow me there, and if you don't, like, I have your license number and all this stuff. And I was like, okay,
sure, buddy.
Fair enough. So I did, so I followed him over to the courthouse, and it actually was quick. It was probably quicker than calling a cop. Like, we walked in, dude was like, file a report. This dude hit me. And they, like, wrote it up. I signed off on it. And the clerk was like, oh, like, you better have insurance. And I was like, oh, I do. Didn't. And just left, right?
Yep. I can neither confirm nor deny allegations that I may have done the same thing in another state.
So we leave. You know, aftermath of everything, I bitched out both my friends and was like, what the hell? Like, I'm so fucked now. Turns out I was super fucked, but the guy that I hit calmed down after that day. So, obviously, his insurance investigates, finds out I don't have insurance. I get whatever piece of mail that says, like, you have to go to court.
Uh-huh.
I tell my mom about it. At this time, I told my mom about it and was like, look, this happened. I don't know what to do. She was like, it's fine, we'll deal with it. Which, credit to my mom. She totally did deal with it. And I believe her wife at the time, Susan, also really helped out with that. So, right on, Susan. I mostly don't like you, but you helped me in this one, instance. So they I don't think they got a lawyer, but they contacted the guy personally and just asked if we could settle out of court. Right. And he was totally cool with it. He was like, just sent him a bill for the body damage. They paid for it.
How old are you in this picture? I'm sorry.
19.
Okay, yeah, I mean...
It was like $800 or something, but it was like we just settled out, and then that was that. But I still had a driving... It was like a driving without insurance...
Infraction.
You
had to go to court for?
I didn't have to go to court. They just sent me a bunch of paperwork on it. They were like, look, this happened. You have to pay this fine. And as part of this, you have to get SR22 insurance for 2 years. It's like, okay. So SR22 insurance, for those who don't know, it's just fuck-up insurance. If you get a DUI, you have to get it. If you get driving, or if you get like an uninsured motorist ticket or infraction or whatever, you have to get it. It's basically just this extra insurance that says, I don't know. I really don't know what it does, but it's an extra insurance that you have to have on top of your regular car insurance. At the time, it didn't cost much. I think in this day and age of making DUIs a commodity, it's actually quite expensive.
That makes sense.
But back in the day, and I didn't have a car, so I was just like, fuck it, dude. Like, I don't actually have to pay for insurance, so I'll just pay for the SR22. It was like $30 a month. So I started paying for it. But I had to have it for 2 years, and I had to have it for 2 years consecutively, which I didn't realize.
Wait. What do you mean you didn't realize that you had to have it for 2 years consecutively?
Well, I thought I just had to have it for 2 years.
Like you could do it for a year now and then at some point in the future do it for another year?
Yes.
That seems a little foolish.
Well, look. I was young. I didn't understand what was going on, and I didn't have a car. So I didn't care. I was just like, okay, well, whatever. I guess, like, I'm just not driving. Or, well, I got the SR22, so I could actually drive other people's cars again. So, but it didn't matter. But I was young, and I didn't get a car for another many years. So I went through this whole cycle for...
Oh, no, I get it. So you figured that, like, when you got another car, you could, like, then just have
right,
it
like,
for
I'd just
a year.
pick it up again, or whatever.
All right, forgive me for calling
And
you
I was
a fool.
attempting... No, it was foolish, though. And I was attempting to pay for it to get the whole thing worked off. But I was 19 and, you know, really wasn't making money and was between jobs a lot because... my jobs were terrible and I quit them a lot.
Dude, Fort Collins, say no more.
Yeah, totally. And so, but the shitty thing is the SR22 was a requirement to have an active license. So every time I would lapse my insurance, they would suspend my license.
Oh, God, no.
And luckily, all I had to do was reinstate the SR22, go back to the DMV, and they would reinstate my license.
Oh, that's all you had to do?
Yeah.
God damn it.
It is all I had to do.
So that sounds like a pain in the ass.
But this happened like 5 fucking times
Lord.
over the course of many, many years. And yeah, even eventually my grandparents gave me a car. I had a Mazda 626, and that car was badass. Like, it was so easy to work on and repair, and like, anyway, it was one of my favorite cars I've ever owned. So I drove that thing around forever.
Would you, like, as an aside, if you ever, like, just had the money, would you ever, like, want to just get one of those as your, like, sidecar? That's your...
You know what? If I could get a low-mile Mazda 626, yes, because that car lasted forever, man.
Nice. I got one of those too.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I mean, I did my own... I replaced my own... Actually, this is one of the things I want to talk about in this story. I did my own alternator in it. I did my own... God damn it. I'm so... Look at me with all my car knowledge.
I put a part on it.
I did. What's the thing that goes with the radiator? Your, like, radiator regulator. It's like a little spinning part. Whatever. I replaced the thing on it.
Spinning part on a regulator.
Radiator. It's like
Radiator regulator.
Yeah, it's like where all the radiator fluid goes through, and it's like a spinning part. Why am I drawing a blank on this? Thermostat. There we go. God, car people are just like, you fucking idiot. How did you replace one? You don't even know what it's called. Well, I did. Well, but I fucked it up. So there's like a little... Yeah, so it's a regulator that monitors your coolant, and... basically it's like these 2 parts. I open it up, I put the new one in, but I didn't realize I had to put this sealant around the 2 like joints that go back on.
Oh no.
So I like replaced it, started the car up, drove around a block, and then basically radiator fluid just fired out of that thing all over my engine, and like smoke just starts billowing out of the hood.
Jesus.
You know, because there's just coolant like burning up on my engine, and like, so I just like drove it back into my parking lot and was like, what the fuck happened? And then realized I didn't put the sealant on. But anyway, look, I fixed it. I put the sealant on. Later, we my clutch was going out, and I knew through a friend of a friend knew a mechanic, air quotes mechanic.
Wow.
But he qualified. But he, yeah, I know, right? And he agreed to help me put a new clutch in for like $100 and like a bag of weed or something.
Wait, homie was gonna charge you money as an unqualified mechanic to help you put a clutch on? That's not a friend. That's a ripoff.
Well, a clutch is like $700, so he's like, I'll take a day of my life to...
Oh, he was giving you the clutch?
No, he was going to spend a day of his life doing labor, putting a clutch in my car for like $100 versus like $700.
This exposes my ignorance to mechanics.
Yeah, no, clutches are expensive, man.
Wait, still though, $100 in a bag of weed for like a day's worth of work when you're like 19?
At this point, I was like 20 something. Still didn't matter. whatever. It was still cool, and we did put a new clutch in, and we were successful, except for reverse. We no longer had the reverse gear.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, it was not worth $100 in a bag of weed. That guy did not know what the fuck he was doing.
It was $100 to get a car that functioned again without reverse versus that car dying forever. Because, like, I didn't have $700 to pay a real mechanic to put a clutch in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't do some shit like that when I was 19, so, like...
So
I'm gonna just withhold judgment here.
So I did have a car that didn't have reverse and I drove that car without reverse for, like, a year or more. And it was hilarious because you have to start getting crafty with where you park.
Oh, I might have had a car without reverse.
Like, you try and do pull-through spots a lot.
Try to park on the uphill slope.
Right. Well, yeah, and, like, you definitely cannot park on a downhill slope.
Ever.
I did that once, and it was hardly a downhill slope, but it was enough that I could not get out. Because the way I would do it is I would throw my door open and stick a foot out.
Right.
And, like, kick myself back. I'd just throw it in neutral, kick myself out of my spot. But I was on enough of a downhill slope that I couldn't do that and had to call some people to, like, come and push me out of the fucking spot that I put myself in.
Because otherwise you're just going to right into the car in front of you.
But totally. So anyhow, that was the car that I was driving for a while. Where was I? Anyway, so I was driving this car for a while, and even while I was driving that car, I would, a couple times I missed an insurance payment, and, like, my insurance would lapse, and I'd have to go back to the DMV and reinstate my license, restart SR22.
God damn.
And this was the cycle that I ran for years. So, like, the whole thing started when I was 19. I did all of this stuff for, I mean, let's see. I think I was 25 when the Mazda finally died. And I'm still have SR22 and I'm still doing this bullshit. I probably reinstated my license
6 years
like
later.
4 times.
You're still fucking around with this SR22 bullshit?
Yeah, totally. And the Mazda finally dies. My mom sells me her Pathfinder. And so I'm driving around
Love
this.
me a good Pathfinder.
Yeah. Dude, that car was sweet. Except the clutch also went out on that a few years later. But anyhow.
Well, that's the thing about those Toyotas. And like a lot of those 90s Asian cars. Is like the engine's good for at least 200,000 miles. But you got to replace the clutch at about 100,000.
Yeah, totally. Or something. You know, some major thing. But yeah, that Nissan was sweet. And so by the time I finally got rid of that Mazda, it was still running like a champ, but it didn't have reverse, and like the brakes were shot, and like, but yeah, sold it for $50 on MySpace.
God damn it! You did not.
I totally did. Which is funny because that means I sold it to someone who used to come to the bar that I worked at. Because I ran the bar page and just ran that ad on my bar page.
Oh my god!
It was like $50 car.
That's hysterical.
These are the problems. Be fully aware.
Wow.
But some girl came and bought it. It was like $50. It's yours. Anyhow, so now I have the Pathfinder. I'm still kind of a struggling 20-something. I'm like 25 at this point, 24 at this point. And I'm still fucking with this SR22. And I'm still struggling and, like, missing payments and, like, having to reinstate my license every now and again. I think I did this, seriously, like, 4 or 5 total times. But here's the thing. When this incident happened, I thought I was in good standing. And so one night I'm just like doing a beer run from my friend's house to the liquor store. It's a quarter mile away. I'm doing this beer run.
Is this in your car?
This is in my Pathfinder.
Okay, got it.
And I get pulled over. And here's an aside too. I'm one of those fucking people who judges the shit out of you if you don't use a blinker. Like, I'm serious. Like, I obey the rules of the road. I use my blinker. It's not hard. Communicate to the people on the road. I'm fucking one of those people.
Hell yeah.
And I got pulled over for apparently not putting on my blinker. So I'm a little confused how that happened, but maybe I didn't. But I was pissed. I was super pissed. And so I get pulled over. The cop tells me why. I'm pissed. They run my license. I give them my insurance, and they're like, oh, your insurance isn't valid. was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, yeah, like, it's not valid, which means your license is suspended as of right now. And I was like, okay. And the cop was actually really cool, because they could have impounded my car right then and there, because I was driving on a suspended license. Also, they were supposed to take my license and, like, punch a hole in it, which they didn't.
Well, but how did you not know that your insurance was expired?
It was... Okay, so it was either I had changed an email or changed a card, like a debit card that was supposed to auto-pay it. Okay. Something happened, and I didn't ever get notified that I had... I think I was, like, a day late on a payment or something like that. And I never got notified by anyone, the state or my insurance company or the city or the county or anyone who would have notified me. I thought I was good. I truly, genuinely did think I was good.
The stars aligned.
Yeah. And so anyhow, so they didn't impound my car, but they were like, you can't drive it back. So you just got to leave it here, send someone to get it later in the morning. It's like, all right, fair. They were also supposed to take my license and punch a hole in it. They didn't, which is awesome, which allowed me to get into the bars still. Because Fort Collins was rigorous, and they would not take a punch license. I mean, I don't think most places will, but...
No, none of them will.
Yeah, and so luckily, like, that incident was cool. Ish. But what happened is I also got a driving on a suspended license ticket, and that was a court appearance. And so I get issued this ticket, but they issued it for like 4 months away from when I actually got pulled over. So
wow, that's a long fucking time.
Yeah, and this is why I fucked up. So I
started to put pieces together.
So I missed my court date. Yeah. Long story short, because I had never really been in any real trouble. I mean, again, I had tons of run-ins with the law and cops and stuff, but I never went to jail, never had a court date before, had a perfect driving record other than all this insurance bullshit that I had been dealing with for years.
Fuck. Dude. This is not looking good for you.
No. So, I should throw an aside, too, that around this time, so the reinstating my license thing was super annoying, because around this time, we had Larimer County DMV, and then there was, I think it was Weld County DMV, which handled Windsor and Greeley and some of the, like, outlying towns. Larimer County handled Fort Collins and Loveland, but then that Weld County DMV closed, and so they just rolled it all into Larimer County. So it was just like two kind of sizable cities plus all of the surrounding like little towns all had to go to this one DMV.
Fuck that noise.
And it was fucking terrible. And like, yeah, you would go in and wait all day to get served. In fact, there was one day, because after I had done this a few times, I knew kind of how things went. There was one day I just went there before they opened, and there was a line deep of 30 people, and they had a little number system.
Oh, of course.
And so I will finally get up to the front, grab my number, and then I just leave. And I go home. I'd go back to bed for like 2 hours. I got up, ran a couple errands, went and ate lunch, came back at 3:34 before they were about to close, and I was still 20 numbers away. And like sat in the lobby before I got called.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's some fucking like valley shit, like Thousand Oaks.
Oh, it was bad.
Like I definitely had to wait forever there, but like honestly, that's a lot longer than that. Like, fuck.
Well, and it was every stereotype of the DMV, you know. It was, you know, just people who make such a shit government wage, who just do not care about you or their job or their lives or anything, and just like, they don't care. They don't care at all.
Damn it.
Yeah, anyhow.
Call it pointless.
So, that's the aside on the DMV. Okay, so I missed my court date because I'm an idiot. And I remembered it like the day after. It was like 2 days after.
Oh, damn it.
I was like, oh, fuck, man, I think there was that court date. Fuck. And like go and like dig out that ticket. I'm like, yeah, fuck. No, because I even still like, I even think I was able to still reinstate my license, but still had to go to the court date. So I'm still driving around like life is normal. They didn't punch my license. Like, everything was fine. I had insurance again. Everything was going to be fine. Then I missed my court date. So I call. Now, this is where things get really shitty. Because I called the courthouse, and I get this woman on the phone. I'm like, hey, I missed a court date. What do I need to do? And she was like, oh, well, you need to come down to the police station.
Oh, God damn it.
And I was like, okay, cool. Like, what's that going to entail? And she's like, well, look, you just have to come down. You have a bench warrant, so you have to pay your fee for the bench warrant.
Those two words, if you had been a little more criminally minded.
Yeah. No, I had no fucking idea, man.
Yeah.
And so she's like, yeah, you have a bench warrant. You just have to come down, pay the fee for the bench warrant. We'll issue you a new court date. That's it. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And I even was like asking her a lot of questions. I was like, how long do you think this will take? And she was like, a couple hours. She was being totally genuine with me, which is so frustrating because it was utter bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can neither confirm nor deny allegations that I might have had similar circumstances at some point in the past in another jurisdiction. But, yeah. Fuck a bench warrant.
Yeah. So, what I also didn't know was that I could have just sent someone else in my stead to pay that fee and then get a new court date issued.
This is the issue. This is our concern, dude. Like, an emissary could have cleared you of all wrongdoing, but the simple, like, fact of your corpus within the fucking police station is an issue.
Yep. So I'm like, okay, fine, cool. I will come down there. I will pay the fee. I'll get my new court date. This should be fine. So I called my mom and was like, I fucked up. Like, this needs to happen. And she was like, that's fine. I'll give you a ride down there.
Your mom gave you a ride to get arrested?
Well, yeah, and I think I was short on the like fee. And so I was like, will you just come down there with me and like, will you spring me like $30 or $40 or whatever to like help me pay this fee? Because it wasn't even much. I think it was like $60 or whatever, like the fee.
Sure.
And then, in my mind, they were like, yeah, we'll just give you a new court date. Make sure you don't miss that one. Tisk, tisk, tisk. And, like, be on with your merry self. I even had to work that night at 6.
Oh, God.
And I knew it was government work, so I knew it was going to fucking take forever. So we went down at noon. And I was like, I know this is going to take forever. I'm going to sit around and wait in lines and have to do XYZ.
Oh, you thought it was the DMV.
Right. Yeah, I'd already been used to standing in line for government work, but and so we go down to the police station.
It's a different kind of hell.
Yeah,
different kind of hell.
And so I walk up. I've got my ticket with my previous court date. I was like, here, I missed this court date. And I'm just like all in good spirits still. I'm like, cool, we're getting this taken care of. Like, everything's gonna be okay. And like hand them the paperwork, and they're friendly. The woman on the phone was friendly with me. Was like, no worries, it's no problem at all. And even at the police station, they were like, cool, no problem at all. We'll get this taken care of. And I'm like, thank God, what a great system we have.
Oh God.
I'm just starry eyed.
I paid my taxes.
Yeah, I'm just starry eyed, just like, this is fine. Like, I'm glad this is working out for me.
Oh.
And so then,
my sweet child of summer.
I know, right? Oh God. And this is totally how I felt 10 minutes later. Was just like, wow, I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking complete idiot. And so anyhow, they were like, cool, okay, so just like fill out this stuff, and I fill out this paperwork, and they're like, cool, just step right over here. And like, I step around the corner, and they're like, all right, just empty your pockets, take off your shoes, take off your belt. It's like, well, this is unexpected, but there's probably a fine reason for this. And so I do.
Yeah.
Dump everything into the little tray that goes through the bulletproof glass, and they gather all that stuff up, and then they buzz me through a door, and they're like, cool, step right in here. And I was like, okay. Walk through that door, and they're like, cool, we'll call you up when you're ready. And all of a sudden, I'm in booking.
Yup.
All of a sudden, I'm in jail. I'm not in a cell, but I'm in booking. So it's where they take all of the fucking, like, drunk tank people and all the DUI people and stuff like that.
The Group W bench. Next to all the murderers and stabbers and rapers and father rapers and anyway.
Yeah, and so I'm just in this big lobby with a bunch of fucking meth heads and drunk people and who knows what, and everyone's just watching Dr. Phil on, you know, low volume on the fucking television sets up there. I'm like, fuck. And that's when it hits me. And I'm like, fuck. I'm in jail. I didn't get arrested, but I'm in jail now. Like, god fucking damn it, dude. And my mom's waiting in the lobby, mind you. And she has no idea what's going on.
Damn it.
She watched me step around a corner. And so anyhow, yeah. And so this is like 1 p.m. And so I'm sitting there. And I'm sitting there for a while. And I'm watching the cops yell at people. Like, people are getting rowdy in this lobby. And cops are coming in, rushing in, and, like, detaining people and yelling at people and telling people to shut the fuck up. And I'm just sitting there like, man, what is going on? What's happening right now? And then I hear a person in a cell. They have, like, the holding cells are right next to this room. And I hear this person in a cell, like, screaming at the top of their lungs about how they need a blanket and how they're dying of cold. And, like... And they're just, like, losing their shit and banging on the door and just, But it was awful because I could actually hear the pain in their voice. They were just like, they're like, I'm fucking dying in here. I'm fucking freezing. And just, like, screaming and all this shit.
Right.
And the cops are just, like, laughing. I can see a couple of them standing around next to the cell, like, laughing, being like, ha. This one, right? Am I right? You know? And just like...
Dude.
And I'm just like, get them a blanket. Come on. Like,
right?
Yeah, they're fucked up. Like, clearly, they're on tons of PCP or whatever. But, like, just get them a blanket. And they didn't, ever.
Fuck, man.
And I'm just like, God, this whole situation is the fucking worst.
Yeah, life is tough on the Group W bench, man.
Yeah. Wait, the Group W bench? I don't get... what's the reference?
You've never seen Alice's Restaurant?
Heard.
Oh, right.
Seen or heard Alice's Restaurant?
There's a video.
Because it's an Arlo Guthrie song.
No, I'm aware of the song.
Right.
I guess I just don't know all 29 minutes of lyrics.
Well...
Dude, I do though.
Wait. Alright, y'all talk about Alice's Restaurant for a second while I grab a beer and use the restroom.
Okay, cool. Get me one, too.
I will.
Shit, are we really... Is this going on the pod?
Yeah.
All right, Ricky, you want to jam? Our super producer Ricky is going to explain Alice's Restaurant.
The main thing that I want to ask you about right now are the 27 8x10 color glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us.
Yes! Yes!
Because it just so happened that day in history, there was a blind judge sitting on the bench. And that persecutor was not going to have any luck with those 27 8x10 color glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. Because he had a CNNI dog. A CNNI dog.
That's canon. CNNI dog. Oh my god, thank you, Ricky, our super producer.
We was just sitting there on the Group W bench. I mean, we was sitting there on the Group W bench, and we was talking about all those father rapers,
mother stabbers.
We were playing with the pencils there on the Group W bench, and we sang a bar of Alice's Restaurant.
You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant.
And walk out.
Alice.
All right, there we go. So yeah. So I guess I'm on the Group W bench. And
listening to the father stabbers and mother dancers. Anyway, go ahead.
And so I'm sort of asking, whenever a cop or a guard would walk by, I'd be like, hey, when am I getting out of here? You know? And they're just like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, you're in the queue. Like, when they call your name, that's when you're up. You know? And I was like, all right, let's, you know, all right.
Damn it.
And so then, so I'm probably there for like 3 or 4 hours. And then,
Jesus.
Yeah. And so I'm like, any day now, right? Any day now, they're going to call my name. I'm going to get right on out of here. But they did not. And then what happened was 3 or 4 cops walk into the room and they're like, hey, can we have everyone's attention? We're all going to go on break. We're all going to take a lunch break. And then we all have a meeting. So you all can't be in here.
Man,
so
fuck you guys.
We're going to put you all in cells.
Whoa.
And that's what happened. And so they walked by and they were like, you, follow me. And like put 8 of us in a cell and then like grouped another group and put them in a holding cell. And so next thing I know, I'm in a fucking cell. Like with bars and like
Jesus, dude.
Yeah. And I mean,
was Charlie Sheen in there like all junked out with a leather jacket like
no.
All right, cool.
I actually was trying to not just pay attention to what was going on. I just went and sat in a corner, like head down, and I was just like, I'm just not going to talk to these people, right? Like, that's my best strategy. And then we're in that cell for like a couple hours, because yeah, they sure did take like an hour lunch break and then probably like an hour meeting. But like halfway through being in that cell, they came and brought everyone lunch.
Oh no.
And so and then, you know, and it's jail lunch, so it's just a bologna sandwich, some bullshit orange juice, and that's it, right? And they walk in and they're just throwing these sack lunches at people and everyone's grabbing them. They go to hand me one. I'm a vegetarian at this point. I am not meant to be here at all. I'm a vegetarian.
Excuse me. I'm not supposed to be here. And also, I'm a vegetarian.
Yes.
Hello. Is anyone listening?
Call my lawyer.
Oh my god. I refuse to be treated this way. Continue.
Basically. And so I did. So I, like a fucking idiot, refused my bologna sandwich. I was like, nah, I'm good. And I wave it away. And they smirk at me and sort of laugh. And then pack my sack lunch away and walk out of the cell. And I look over, and everyone in that cell is fucking giving me darts, dude. Just staring me down. Every single person in that cell. I'm just like, oh no. Like, because I realized what I did. And before the dude even said it, I realized what I did. But this, like, Vato, like, sitting, like, a foot away from me was like, you could have given it to someone, Holmes. And I was just like, yeah, you're dead right, man. I should have taken it and given it to someone, because fucking anything's a commodity in jail. And I didn't realize where I was, because I'm supposed to not be here. You know?
Not even supposed to be here today. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I didn't know what to say. I was just like, I'm so sorry. Like,
guys, I just came in to pay a fine.
Yeah,
I literally am not supposed to be here.
I'm not like you. I did
was miss a court date.
I hit a car in the rain without insurance 8 years ago.
Oh my god.
And that's what led me here.
That's right. This is all because you fucked up 8 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
So luckily I didn't get my ass beat, but everyone just like stared at me the whole time. And I definitely thought I was going to get my ass beat, but they didn't beat my ass. And then they finally come around, let us all out of the jail cell, put me back in booking, and then I'm just back to where I was 2 hours ago. I'm just sitting there watching Dr. Phil with all the fucking other people. And no one's given me answers. But now it's about 5 o'clock. Yeah, or maybe even 6 o'clock. I think I had to work at 6. And so I was like, hey, I have to work tonight. like, I flag a guard down. It's like, I have to work tonight. Is there any way I can get a hold of my work? And they're like, you can make a collect call on that phone right over there. So I collect call my job. Luckily, the guy who was working was my buddy. Like, it was at a gas station, and he worked the day shift, and I worked the night shift. So he gets... So, yeah, it's collect call, and I'm like, it's Nate, I'm in jail. Like, I can't make it in tonight. Please answer. And so, and so he gets that message, actually takes the collect call, and I was like, look, this is what's happening, and I'll get there as soon as I can. He's like, don't worry about it, man. I'll just close down for you and everything. So I was like, okay, thank God. And then shortly after that, they did call me up. So, like, I think around 7. So I've been in there for 6-7 hours at this point. And so...
Fuck me.
Yeah, and so then they finally call me up. They mugshot me. They fingerprint me. They, like, measure me. They do all this shit with me. And then they're like...
Delouse you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Make me dance the mamushka, But, yeah, and then they're like, okay, you're good to go. Here's your new court date. Hand me some paperwork. Here's
fucking dicks!
Yeah, here's your belt and your shoes and your fucking shit back.
Like, and my fucking God.
Yeah, and then I walk out of the room, and my mom is still in the lobby.
No way, dude.
Because she didn't know, and no one would give her any information.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They basically just told her what they told me, was like, oh, he's in booking. Well, when's he going to be out? I don't know. When they call him up. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did she have to do anything that day?
No. Luckily she didn't. But yeah, she was like,
still,
well, can I get a hold of him? No.
Like, blew her whole day off sitting in the fucking lobby. Didn't even have Dr. Phil to keep her company.
No.
Jesus.
Well, and she, like, oh my God. And she was, like, crying. Well, like, when I walked out of the room, she's crying. She's just like, oh, like, I can't believe that happened. And, like, I was like, yeah, tell me about it. What the fuck was that shit?
Yeah, because, like, she thinks that you're going to go in there and, like, pay a fine and be right out. 8 hours later, like...
Yeah.
Oh, you've been in booking for 7 hours. Like, fuck me.
Yeah. So... It was completely fucked. And she was just like, she was crying, and then she was angry. She was like, these motherfuckers, I can't believe they didn't tell you, like, what was gonna happen. And I was like, yeah, no shit, dude. And also, like, I wish the lady on the phone originally had just said, like, you can send a fucking person to... Yeah, like, I could have just told my mom to go down there and pay my bench warrant fee, and then they just issue me a new court date, and right. Like, it's all fine. And I guess, like, all the thing is they would have hassled her a little bit and been like, oh, why isn't he here? And she would just
where
been
is he? Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
Yeah, she would have just been like, well, he's across state lines until I get this taken care of. And that's all she would have had to say.
Yeah.
And it would have been fine. So, yeah. So, it was crazy. So, that was my one experience going to jail.
Fuck
and all because of stupid traffic violation.
Oh my God.
Not even traffic violation. I still have a perfect driving record. I've never even gotten a speeding ticket, man. Like, it's crazy.
This is the thing, man. Most of my shit involves just letting shit expire too. You know, it's like if you don't fucking auto pay something, or like you're just fucking broke and you let something lapse and then like shit happens, you get fucked.
Yep.
And I mean, like, we can't complain too much because of the color of our skin, but like, Jesus, dude. Like,
right. And at the end of the day, it's a funny story to tell now, and I'm not really complaining because, you know, it was what it was, and it's funny to hear me be like, oh, like,
I had to go to jail for 7 hours.
Stuff, like, God. You know, but, you know, but it was still, like, traumatic. It was fucked up. No one should ever have to go to jail, especially for some bullshit, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, like this is the top level of, like, how much bullshit you have to go through.
Not
like,
no one should ever have to go to jail, but you know what I mean. Like,
well, for sure, but no one should ever have to go to jail for fucking paperwork.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's insane.
Non-violent offenders should never have to go and sit in a jail cell, or, like, sit in booking all day, or anything.
Exactly.
Like,
victimless crime is an oxymoron. Like, come the fuck on.
Yeah.
The fact that you showed up to fucking pay your shit should have been a commendation. Not like, oh, cool, you were dumb enough to show up to pay your own shit. Why don't we put you
Well,
in
it should
holding
have just
for
been a
while?
ton of money, which is what I thought it would be. Because it's like, that's how the system should work. Like, you're a nonviolent criminal, you fucked up, you should pay a ton of money because we got to keep the system afloat. Like, okay, fine, like, I accept that. But I didn't know I was going to get fucking thrown in booking for 7-8 hours.
Yeah.
So...
And imagine if you'd gotten your ass beat for a bologna sandwich. You
Fuck,
know?
man. That would have been rough. It would have been rough. And so, lesson learned.
Right?
A lot of words of wisdom in this. Like, show up to your court dates,
Yes.
people. Give away your bologna sandwiches, people.
Yeah.
You know? Like...
Never trust what they say to you
If
on
you
the
have a
phone
bench
if you're
warrant, yeah.
talking to the cops.
Yeah, if you have a bench warrant, don't fucking show up yourself. You can send someone else.
Oh, yeah. Like, holy shit. Like, speaking as someone who can neither confirm nor deny allegations about a past bench warrant, like, Jesus, people, be careful about that shit.
Yeah. So there's an epilogue to this story. Because even after all of this, I still had to get my license back. And so...
Holy Christ.
And
What?
so, and so I still had to go to my court date.
Oh, right.
So I go to my court date. I sit down with a DA's assistant, and they're like, okay, we see what's happened here. You're good to go. You just need to reinstate your SR22, and you can go and fucking get your license back. I was like, cool. Been here before. Been there. Done that.
Oh, wait, I have to reinstate my SR22?
Yep. And,
Shocking. It's only been 8 years since I started doing this.
And so I'm trying to remember how the order of things went down. But I went, and so... Oh, yeah, and so they were like, just go. Go, but you have to come back with your new license and your SR22, and if you prove that to me, then, like, everything's good. And I was like, cool. And so I go down to the DMV. I was like, need to get my license reinstated. And they were like, oh, because you got the driving on a suspended ticket, you need a letter from the DA. Like, do you have that? It's like, they didn't give me one. They literally just told me to come here. And they're like, well, we can't reinstate it without a letter from the DA.
Jesus.
And I was like, okay. So I went and had to go back to the courthouse, set a new court date, because I couldn't just walk in and talk to the DA. So I'd, like, set a new court date.
Hold on. Hold the fuck on. You'd already done your court date.
Yep.
It said go do X.
Yep.
And
but they didn't give me the appropriate paperwork that I needed.
You had to somehow set a new date to talk to a judge?
Not a judge, a DA.
Oh, and that's somehow a court date?
I guess. I don't fucking know, man.
Because when you say court, that sounds like it involves a bailiff.
Right. So, I mean, look, it was a court date in that I had to go to the courthouse and it was a date I had to appear, but all I had to do was talk to a DA. Well, because that's the thing. Okay.
So you made an appointment with a DA.
Okay. Yes.
There we go.
But my court date was also an appointment with a DA. Because that's the thing, like, if I contested any of this, then I would talk to a judge. But I'm just working out something with the district attorney and saying, like, yes, I'm pleading guilty to, like, XYZ or whatever. Like, let's just move through all this. Like, a judge doesn't really need to concern themselves with this situation.
Oh, certainly. However, a judge is the only person who has a court.
Fair enough. Okay. I mean, I went into a
District
courtroom
attorney
and talked to a DA.
is someone who appears before a judge in a court of law.
Okay. Fair enough. However it worked, all I ever talked to was DA's assistants. And they were supposed to give me...
And I'm not saying that those aren't court dates in the state that you're from, but, like, the, terminology is weird.
Yeah. And, I mean, I guess I don't really know, like... I mean, it was a court date. I was due
It's in the
court
courthouse. All
at
right.
a certain time.
Fair enough. Also, I am not an expert on law.
Yeah, and I think for certain offenses, like, you don't have to stand before a judge or whatever, and also, like, depending on what it is, it really wasn't a guilty, non-guilty situation. Like, they fucking suspended my license, and I needed to just go fix that, so...
Well, all my nitpicking about semantics aside.
Yeah, semantics aside, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm not an expert. I had never been through any of this. Anyway, so I had to go back to the courthouse, set a new appointment or court date or whatever it was, but it felt like court again.
So, at any rate, yeah, you had to fucking go back and be like, Can I just fucking get a letter already?
Yeah, totally. And so I sit down with another DA's assistant, and this is like a week after that first one. Sit down, and this is just kind of a funny anecdote because the guy that I sat down with clearly had like the cold from hell, but couldn't stay home from work. No. I mean, he's just got a box of tissue. His face is red. He's just like sniffling and like coughing, and he's just like pulls up my paperwork, and he's like just so angrily like looks at it, and he's like, "Okay, why are you here?" And I was like, "Because like I came here, they told me to go get my license, but the DMV needs paperwork, and y'all didn't give me paperwork, and so I just need paperwork." And he was like, "Okay, why were you here in the first place?" And I was like, "Because," and I told him this whole podcast, but much shorter. I was like, "I hit a car in a parking lot 8 years ago, fucking without insurance. We settled out of court. I had to get SR22. It lapsed. I got my license suspended. Then I missed my court date. Then I went to jail. Then I'm back here. And here we are now." And he was like, "Ah," and just like shook his head. And he was like, "You know what, man? You're done. You're done with this whole thing. I'm giving you this paperwork right now. You don't need SR22. Just go to the fucking DMV, get your license back, and you are done with the system." And I was like, "Thank you, dude. Thank you. For fuck's sake, thank you." And he was like, "Yeah, now get the fuck out of here." And like, I even think he might have said fuck. He was definitely just done with everything that day. And
he had it.
Yeah, he was fed up for sure.
And I'm sorry for like applauding in the middle of your speech, but like, god damn it, that's a fucking civil servant that we need more of in this country.
Yeah. And so I took that paperwork, went down the DMV, and was like, "I've got a golden ticket," and like fucking walked in there, and I was like, "Give me my fucking license," and they did, and I never had to buy SR22 insurance again, and I've been good ever since.
I would like to cheers you on this show right now. I gotta say, like, it was some, like, I'm a little speechless right now because we don't often have people like that in civil service who just want to cut through the red tape and be like, "You know what, sir, you've been fucked around."
Yeah.
And I'm here to say
that
this ends here. Here and no further, sir.
Yeah. No, and like credit to that guy, because again, I don't know if it was because he was sick. I don't know if it was because he was fed up. I don't know what the deal was, but he was just like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, man." You can tell he's just like, this is what I'm dealing with? Like, I'm here for this right now?
I had to come in today?
Yeah. Like, I wanted to call out of work today, and now I'm dealing with this guy who shouldn't be here at all.
Like, you should have been out of here, like, 6 years ago, dude.
Years ago. This should have all been fucking dealt with years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, he's like, "Hold on. Let me just cinch up my tie here."
Totally. Except that'll close up my throat and I'm coughing so hard.
We're going to make this motherfucker official right now.
Yep. Which is exactly what he did. And it was fucking awesome. But yeah. And I didn't know, like, DA's assistants just had that power to just being like, "Fucking wipe your record clean, dude. Just, like, forget all of this. Like, you're good, man." Just pulled out a red stamp that just said "good," and fucking was like.
Well, and I love that. That's kind of what it took, was a clerical error on the part of the court. Because I assume that they had intended to give you that paperwork that you needed, or at least have put some type of clearance on your record that would have allowed you to go to the DMV, but they were like, "Oh, we haven't received this paperwork," and you show up in the fucking clerk's office or the assistant's office, and he's just like,
"Yep."
Like, really, dude? Like, today?
Yeah.
Of all days? You show up with this shit? I select the nuclear option.
Well, and my story sounds fucking ridiculous, but I had all the paper trail to show him, and I was like, "Look, here's all this stuff. This is my original ticket. Here's the stuff from when
They took my shoes and my belt.
They took my shoes.
I was on the Group W bench.
Yeah. Did I tell you about the bologna sandwich? Because that was really an awful moment, dude."
Oh my god.
So anyhow, so that's my story of.
I feel
how
like this
went to
could be
jail.
an after-school special. Honestly.
Well, okay,
like,
so here's my PSA, and this is, and I don't want to go long in the tooth on this because I think everyone knows how fucked our justice system is. But just understand how fucking easy it is to get into the system.
right.
Like, I'm not a fucking real criminal. I mean,
No.
I've done drugs and stuff, but I'm not a real criminal. And all it took was me hitting a car in a parking lot without insurance to get looped into the system for 8 fucking years.
Right.
You know?
Well, imagine, being a person of color or an immigrant or
right.
just anyone who doesn't fit the fucking white male fucking profile.
And that's the thing, is because they will not be honest with you. They will not square up with you. They will not do anything to help you out. They will only be there to fuck you. And so, yeah, except for, like, lucky DA's assistant with a cold, like, hooked me up. But, like, that's not common. And
No.
even color of your skin aside, like, once you're in the system, they want you in it, dude.
Absolutely. I mean,
it's fucked.
We've got a prison industrial combine here in this country, and like, it's the largest lobby in California.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want people in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. Fucking mind your P's and Q's with the justice system.
I mean,
because
yeah,
like,
right?
God damn it. Like,
Yeah.
you can be fucked even without having all of your shit together. But if you fuck up, like, through some fucking simple, like, forgetfulness...
Just being an idiot, stoner, or whatever, yeah, but it's like, it can really end up in a traumatic experience, you know?
It could be, at the very least, mildly life-changing.
Yeah.
If not fucking ruining your dreams, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I mean, again, I guess I was lucky, you know, I didn't get my ass beat for the bologna sandwich.
God forbid.
End of the day, nothing really terrible happened, but it was, you know, it's
Damn straight.
shitty, dude. Like,
Damn
it's
straight.
shitty, and I didn't expect it, and I don't know. No one should ever have to, like, endure that, you know?
Exactly. I mean, fucking that, you know, like...
I guess unless you deserve it. If you're a violent offender, again, I have to keep walking it back. Unless you're like a violent offender, like, yeah, but you know, look, a lot of people end up in that situation that shouldn't, and yeah, it's fucked. You know, so fuck the drug war, fuck the system and how it tries to keep you in there, and yeah, just watch out for it.
And I mean, by the same token, there are good people who work in law enforcement, and like they're struggling with a lot of fucking awful shit and a lot of red tape and a lot of people who are actively working against them. So, you know, I mean, like, on both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're trying to avoid going into jail or whether you're just trying to avoid fucking paperwork for a DA's assistant who's got a fucking cold.
Right.
Just don't fuck around when it comes to the justice system.
Right. Just try and stay out of the system, and if you end up in it, just try and deal with it as quick as possible and not get sucked into it.
And I think, you know, it's something we've touched on before. Like, if you have the means, fucking get a lawyer, you know?
Yeah.
Like, get a lawyer,
I mean,
get an accountant,
sure.
you know, like, what was the other? A mechanic. Like, those are the three things.
Oh, yeah.
Lawyer, accountant, mechanic.
A lawyer friend, an accountant friend, and a mechanic friend. Yeah.
Yeah, get them in your corner, man.
Yep.
Because, like, you will need them in your life.
Yep. For sure. Yeah, it turns out I just hang out with, like, teachers, coders, and bartenders, so...
Yeah. You know, in the interstices somewhere, I'm sure some of us know someone.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's that. I don't really have much more to tag onto it, man. It's
Man, it's a tale of woe, I tell you what.
Right.
Cautionary tale.
Yeah, cautionary tale. Oh man. Yeah, and also just like, don't be a dumbass.
You know, I think if anything, like, what you should take away from this show is don't be a dumbass.
That's most of our stories, right?
Yeah.
You know, just like, don't do stupid shit.
Just please, for the love of God,
keep track of your court date if you get one.
Don't
try and make sure you have insurance in the car you're driving. Just, you know.
Oh my God, yes.
Simple shit.
These are the things
that
we assure you will help your life go better.